I don't know about other countries, but here in the US, credit is basically your worth. Hello everyone, how are you all doing? For those of you who are new, hello, welcome. My name is Angie. Today we are going to talk all about credit. What is credit, why it's important, how it works, and let's get to it. So, credit. According to Experian, credit is the ability to borrow money or access goods or services with the understanding that you will pay back later. You will borrow this money from lenders, usually banks. When you decide that you want to borrow money, there is a process in doing so. This process is very similar to when you lend money. You probably won't lend money to a complete stranger who you have no information on, but you might lend money to a family member, a friend, because you know them. So when they come up to you and they're like, hey, can I borrow some money? You might be like, all right, cool, yeah. If they don't pay you back, then you most likely won't ever let them borrow money again. If they do pay you back, then that increases the possibility of you letting them borrow money again and maybe even more of it. With the lenders, they will also not give money to random people who they have no information on. They're going to try collecting as much information on you as possible. Your full name, your address, your phone number, your email, your income, your social. This is them pulling a credit report on you to see your track record and to determine if you are trustworthy. They want to know how risky it is lending you money. They want to know if you are going to pay them back. If they decide, okay, let me give this person a shot, then you will get what is called a credit limit. That is basically how much money they are lending you. That amount can definitely change. You can get a credit limit increase or a credit limit decrease. And all you gotta do is just make your monthly payments every single month. Now, there are a lot of people who think the worst about credit, and they don't realize that you need really good credit to do a lot in life. I don't know about other countries, but here in the US, credit is basically your worth. And credit isn't bad whatsoever. You just need to learn when to use it and how much of it to use. When you learn this, it will positively impact your life. You'll be able to easily get a loan, rent a car, buy a car, rent in a house or an apartment, buy a house. You'll have higher credit limits. You'll be able to travel for free. Your interest rates will be low, and trust me, you will appreciate that so much. Okay, so in regards to your credit score, the range of FICO score is 300 to 850. 300 being the lowest and 850 being a perfect score. In order for your score to get determined, they look at 5 different factors. The first factor that they look at is your payment history, and this makes up 30% of your credit score. With this, all you gotta do is make your payments on time. You can do the minimum payment every single month, but why do that? Try paying it off every single month in full so that you don't have to pay interest. If you don't have the money for it, then you shouldn't be using it in the first place. Keep in mind that they want you to skip payments, pay late, or make the minimum payment every single month, because then you'll pay interest, lots of it, and that is how they make their money. But you won't do that, okay? Promise me that you will not. If you stop making payments and go into collection, or you make late payments, or you file for bankruptcy, then it will hurt you tremendously. And don't think that if you make your payments, then it will go away, because it won't. It will be on your credit for years, and every other person that you try borrowing money from will see that. The second factor that they look at is your credit utilization. This makes up 30% of your credit score. So no matter what you do, don't stop using your credit cards. I had opened up a credit card at a retail store just for the discount. After that, I had no intention of using it. I was just going to pay it off and leave it alone. But that was my mistake. I had gotten approved for a decent amount, so my score went up and I was happy about that. But after I stopped using it, they saw that and they lowered my limit and my score dropped. So don't stop using your cards, because then you run into the possibility of them closing it out or lowering your limit, and that will hurt your score. The third factor that they look at is the age of credit history that you have. This makes up 15% of your credit score. They want to know that you have a good history of credit. That is why you should never close out old accounts. And let's say you have an account that's 5 years old, one that's a year old, and 5 months ago you made a new one. If you close out your 5-year-old account, then it will show that your credit has only been established for 1 year. You won't have much history to prove that you are an amazing person to lend money to. The fourth factor that they look at is the total accounts of credit that you have. This makes up 10% of your credit score. The reason that this is a factor is because lenders want to see that you can use a variety of accounts responsibly. So it is awesome to have a different range of them, like a mortgage, a car loan, credit cards. They want to see that you can handle 11 cards. And if you have 21, I know it's a lot, but that's even better to them. And lastly, they look at the new type of credit that you have. This also makes up 10% of your score. Whenever you go out and apply for more credit, it causes an inquiry onto your account whether you get approved for it or not. The effect of it depends whether it was a hard inquiry or a soft one. If you are applying for credit, then it most likely will be a hard inquiry. If you are just checking up on it, then it will be a soft one. This will be on your account for about 2 years, but the impact of it will fade over time. 5 simple factors. I want you guys to keep in mind that this is something that you have to work for over and over and over again. It's not just a one stop. Even if you don't do anything wrong, you might not even use your credit and you may have bad credit. We all have to gain credit somehow. If you are unaware of your credit score, then I have good news for you. You are entitled to 1 free full credit report every single year. You just have to go to www.annualcreditreport.com, or I'll link it down in the description for you. You just have to fill it out with your information, and then you'll get your credit score for the 3 major bureaus. It is so easy. That's why you have to take advantage and analyze your credit score today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And before you click out, remember, fortune befriends the bold.